Hi everyone, let's make a simple ballerina-themed cake. I recently made this two-tier cake for my goddaughter's baby shower, but you can also make a single-tier cake that will be just as beautiful. With its elegant design, soft pink tutu, and lovely toppers, this kind of cake is perfect for celebrating the upcoming arrival of a little one or a little girl's birthday. So let's get started. Firstly, you need to bake and fill your cakes. I have 4 layers of moist vanilla cake filled 2 layers of strawberry mousse and 1 layer of lemon mousse. I have videos on my channel for all these recipes, but I'll also post the recipe links in the video description. I made an 8-inch or 20 centimeters cake for the bottom tier and a 6-inch or 15 centimeter cake for the top tier. I covered the cake in chocolate ganache made using a 3:1 white chocolate to whipping cream ratio. You can also use regular buttercream to cover the cakes instead of chocolate ganache. Keep the cakes in the fridge until the chocolate or buttercream hardens. Make sure you place your bottom tier on a flat cake platter or cake drum and your top tier on a simple cake board. Now let's cover the cakes in fondant. I used about 4 to 5 pounds or 1/8 to 2.3 kilograms of fondant to cover the entire cake. For a list of all ingredients and tools used, see the video description. Dust your work surface with cornstarch. Knead about 1/3 of the fondant until it's nice and pliable to cover the top tier. Roll out the fondant to the approximate shape of your cake. Then lift it over the rolling pin and place it on the side of the cake. Start unrolling the fondant from the side of the cake and across the top to the other side. Smooth the fondant with a fondant smoother, or the palm of your hand, starting from the top. Start to gently pull the fondant out and down around the sides of the cake using one hand, and spread the excess fondant and smooth it out using a fondant smoother or your other hand. Trim the edges at the bottom using a sharp knife or cutter. Color the remaining fondant in pink to cover the bottom cake tier, and make the small heart decorations for the top tier. I used this baby pink food coloring from Roxy Rich. Knead the fondant until it's nice and pliable. Follow the same steps as before to cover the bottom tier in pink fondant. And that is, roll out the fondant, then lift it over the rolling pin and place it on the side of the cake. Unroll it. Then, smooth the fondant with your hands and a fondant smoother. Trim the edges. Use boba straws or cake dowels to add some stability to the cake when stacking them. Cut 4 to 5 straws to the height of the bottom tier cake and insert 4 of them into the cake, about 3.8 centimeters or 1.5 inches away from the edge, and 1 of them in the middle. Now let's decorate the cake to make it look like this. To make the pink hearts, roll out pink fondant and cut out the hearts using a small heart-shaped cutter. I have this small cutter from a Linzer cookie cutter set. Print the ballerina design on edible paper using edible ink. I provided a link to the printable ballerina designs in the video description. Roll out some fondant and attach the printed ballerina design to the fondant using edible glue. Then, carefully cut around the design using an X-Acto or super sharp knife or cutter. It might be trickier or more time-consuming to cut the design around the small or thin parts of the body, like the fingers. An easier alternative is to print your design on edible paper, glue it to fondant, and then use one of these embosser and cutters to cut out a shape like this. Attach the ballerina topper to the front and center of the top tier using a small amount of edible glue. Place the hearts randomly around the top tier for a cute and charming effect. Attach them using a small amount of edible glue or water. If you don't have a printer with edible ink, you can create simple cake toppers printed on cardstock paper, like this baby one, a happy birthday one, or your little one's age. You simply print it on cardstock paper and cut the design out using scissors. You can find these printable toppers on my website. I linked it here and in the video description. Then, you attach the cardstock topper to a lollipop stick with glue dots or tape and insert the topper in the center of the cake. Now on to the final touches, making the tutu. Firstly, to give the cakes a more elegant look, wrap pink satin ribbon around the base of each cake tier. Overlap the ends a bit and use a hot glue gun to apply some glue on the ribbon and stick the ends on top of each other. To make the tutu, thread tulle onto a pink string to create a ruffled effect. Make sure the fabric is evenly spaced to create a fluffy, soft look. Use a 6-inch or 15-centimeter cake board, the same size as your top tier, to ensure the circumference of your threaded tulle covers the entire cake board edge. Once you threaded enough tulle, cut it. You can use a 6-inch or 15-centimeter wide pink tulle fabric for a bigger cake or a narrower one if your cake is smaller. To assemble the cake, simply stack the top tier onto the bottom tier, ensuring both are centered and stable on the cake boards. Gently drape the tutu around the base of the top tier and tie the ends of the strings securely. Adjust the tutu as needed to cover the base of the top tier for a delicate, ballerina-inspired look. I recommend assembling it at the venue. If you want to assemble it at home and then you need to drive it somewhere else, insert a cake dowel in the middle of the cake for extra stability. The dowel should be tall enough so you can pass it through both tiers. This ballerina-themed baby shower cake was a hit at the party. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.